Our featured guest today is Diana Avigdor, portfolio manager and head of trading at Barometer Capital Management. Diana, let's talk about the rails.
Sure.
And how well they are performing today on the back of this news that Hunter Harrison's leaving early and might actually go to a competitor.
So interesting that he, from what I read, that he's leaving a large compensation package on the table. It must be worth his time to pursue something else for sure. I'll tell you what people are talking about the most. People are, what was a head-scratching moment was why CP is up 5.5% when I left the office.
I agree, because the numbers weren't very good.
The numbers were not good, and you know, it was between the two Canadian rails, it was the cheaper one because it's the less diversified one. So usually things are kind of cheap for a reason. Anyway, the stock is trading up 5.5%, and it's on this M&A speculation. And you know, 2 years ago, CP bid for CSX, and management turned it down at higher prices than where CSX is now. So the speculation, I guess, is that management is changing, will no longer turn it down, and that the merger will go south-north as opposed to north-south. But the competition in the rail business is very small, and they have quite a high pricing control and pricing power. So regulatory hurdles are to be had. But I get it. I get why CSX is up so much.
Do you?
Why? Their
there's a lot of potential to turn it around.
Yeah, their operating ratio, which is what the metric is that rails get measured by, is very high. Mr. Harrison is a proven cost cutter. He did it to CP. Another thing about CP is that now that he's gone, I know that the street really respects the new CEO. I've heard good things. But can the operating ratio stay as low as it has been under Mr. Harrison? So yeah, there is efficiencies to be had. One other thing, sorry.
Did you change any positions trading-wise today on the back of the news?
No.
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 Do you own any of them?
We own CNR.
Okay.
We own CNR for its diversification, for its yield, for its cyclical exposure, for the fact that we're fairly bullish macroeconomically, and so we think that as part of your cyclical portion of the portfolio, this is a good Canadian name to own. We also own, from the transport area, some of the U.S. airlines. Also on the global macro growth situation. But
Diana, were you not tempted at all, though, to quickly do pen to paper and the math in terms of if Hunter Harrison actually goes to CSX and if he's able to lower the operating ratio, what that would translate to into earnings and therefore the valuation and therefore the stock price and buy it?
It's very leveraged that way. So I know that should that happen, it's going to certainly do that.
The stock move
yeah, that's why I said
I'm not 22% today.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that it's acting the way it is.
Okay.
I get it, and the positioning out there was such that people are long CNR and short CP, and so those that are seeing benefits either way are today using CNR as a source of funds to buy CP, and CSX has underperformed as well. So certainly from an efficiency perspective, lowering that OR. I mean, the operating ratio at CP is about 58, 59, and I think CSX is in the 70s. So you can see the kind of difference that the kind of efficiencies that can be had there.
So you own CN, not CP. I think we certainly have viewers that watch that own both or one or the other. Let's take a look at the quarter. It's almost as though the quarter of CP got very glossed over because of this major news about Hunter Harrison. But when you look at the quarter, I don't know how much time you spent on it because you don't own it, but they did miss on the revenue. It was because of a land sale. The majority of that, maybe 2 cents, wasn't because of that, but 6 cents was. Revenue missed as well. And their guidance was for high single digits, yet some of the analysts have it in double-digit territory. And they say that the company management's conservative. What do you say to that analysis?
I think that it really has to do with the global movement of goods. We were, 2 years ago, we were talking about crude by rail. There is, a friendlier U.S. government that will be friendlier to pipeline regulation, and that's a competition of sorts. It also, but so in terms of the movement of goods across the countries, carloads is also an important metric. Being a conservative management team is not a bad thing. It sets up expectations the right way. So it's entirely possible. I mean, CP is cheaper than CNR. It's entirely possible that what it's doing today is just catch up, and maybe catch up for the right reasons.
Okay, do you think that we'll see consolidation? It doesn't sound like you will see consolidation in the rail sector just because of the regulatory burdens. I mean, you never know, they can go at it again and try again.
You know, it's really a bit of a different world. It could be a different world out there. I mean, we've heard Kevin O'Leary, for example, say yesterday that if the Canadian banks told him that they needed to consolidate, then he would listen. If we have Mr. Trump, who's a pro-business, and I think that the new management of the country's pro-business people will listen to what what business has to say, and really pluses and minuses to everything.
Sure.
To an extent, countries maybe should not be managed for profit like a business. There are other considerations, but you and I spoke in the break that the pendulum has swung too far under the Obama administration, and so we've seen this kind of need and want for somebody to bring it back a little bit more into the middle. So I think that it's going to certainly be more pro-business. So back to your question, do we see consolidation? It's a friendlier government. Maybe not, because really there is no big competition in the rail business. Maybe not, but
it's
never
more of a
know.
possibility now than it was prior to November the 8th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prior to November 8th, you said no. And now you say,
Definite no.
maybe I don't want it, but somebody will listen and then say no.
There you go. All right, Dana, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much. One bottom line question, though, for you. Bottom line, you're buying the market. You are risk on.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good to
You're
see
welcome.
you. Thank you.
Bye.